Welcome, Judy, to the podcast. Super, super excited to have you today. And as a gal with size 11 flippers, I cannot wait to hear all about your business. And firstly, congratulations on the Dragon's Den. Finalist, big deal. I want to hear all about it, but let's first start from the beginning. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Hello, my name is Judy, and I am so happy to be here with you, talking to you, telling you the ins and outs of my life and my business and everything in between. I'm Judy Stewart. I am a 51-year-old first generation Canadian. My parents came from Jamaica and settled here in Toronto, Ontario, and I am the proud mom of three teenage boys. I have a beautiful
Wow.
husband. Yep, I have a beautiful husband, and I've been a teacher for 20, almost 28 years.
Wow.
And I'm just living life, doing the best that I can with whatever God gave me. And Trèsolz is just the cherry on top of the cake.
So now you said you were a teacher. What's the transition like to Trèsolz? Like that seems like a big transition, a big leap.
So as a teacher, I feel like most of us are kind of like planners. Like we're A-type
Mm.
personality, like we like thinking things through, and that's kind of how I am. So I've always known that this idea of starting a company for large size feet is a great idea because I have size 10 and a half, 11 feet, and even though I'm on the smaller size end of my size run, even for me, 10 and a half, it's hard to find cute shoes. We
Right.
don't just walk the dog and hike and go to the gym. Like we need more than that. And so I knew that I had like about 3 years ago, I knew that I had about 5 years until I retire. And I said, let me see if I can start something and build it slowly, take my
Mm.
time, because I'm not a business, I don't have any business education. I have my husband who's been in business, but he's my sounding board, he's my person. But me, I'm a teacher. I teach math, I teach fitness, I teach kids with special needs right now. So I just thought I would try and see if I could build a small company with really cute shoes in large sizes and manage them both at the same time. So I'm still working as a teacher. I have 2 years, two-ish years to go before I fully retire. And the plan is to jump from one into the next.
So with as a gal with a size 11 feet, thank you. To your point, I've got sneakers, but the cute shoes, the evening shoes, the
Right.
fashion shoes, that's what's missing in our category.
Right.
So what inspires you about your job?
Which job? Which
Well,
one?
let's go with teaching.
I've always wanted to. God made when He was crafting me, He made it clear to me that I was supposed to be a teacher. I've
Oh.
always wanted to be a teacher. It wasn't something like I got into because you get the summers off or it sounds like a nice job or whatever. No, I when I came out as an infant, I was playing school with my older siblings and my older cousins even before I can read or write, and I was always a teacher.
It was your
It's
calling.
it was my calling. And so it naturally intrinsically inspires me because it's what I'm supposed to be doing. I've always wanted to educate and I've been around the block. I've been around 6 or 7 schools in my entire career so far. Now I'm for the last 15 years I've been at a sports school because I'm a former athlete. So that's where I've been for the majority of my career. And it's just so rewarding. Like teaching kids is like you're helping to shape the life of an individual. I mean, that's what everyone's supposed to do in some fashion way or fashion, right?
And we always remember our favorite teacher, the one that was our TSN turning point. What they did changed the course of our life. And that's your calling.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I also remember my favorite teacher, Mr. McCracken in grade 3. I also
Uh,
remember my worst teacher. So so I think about that because that has helped to shape, I never want to be that memory of the worst teacher, but I have a lot of students who reach out to me, especially now with Trèsolz, because I'm getting a lot of publicity and exposure. People are like, I recognize that girl, that woman on Instagram. That's my old teacher from
oh,
1997. And they reach out, Miss Stewart, is that you? You look exactly the same, but congratulations. What's up? So it happens all the time.
So I was just going to say, what excites you most about your new job, your new side hustle?
What excites me most is the fact that I'm actually doing this. Like, I can't believe that this has now had Trèsolz now has legs and it's actually moving and growing and it's viable. Because I wasn't sure at the beginning. I mean, who is sure at the beginning when you start a new business, right? And I've bootstrapped it from the beginning, and I was just like taking a chance on me. And Dragon's Den, like let's just like who'd have thought like that could have ever happened? So I'm excited because I see that it's here and it's here to stay. It's not just like we're not going anywhere, and that excites me. Mhm.
So would you say your greatest win, your greatest achievement so far, work
Right.
wise? Would this be it? Would Dragons be the pinnacle thus far, being rewarded
Yeah.
and accepted and recognized?
Yeah. Dragon's Den so far has been the hugest thing for me so far. It's only been 3 years, and so I would never have thought like a lot of the other entrepreneurs who've been on Dragon's Den, like they're not as young as I am. So I think this is a huge deal for such a young company to already have made it onto Dragon's Den and to have gotten a deal. Like this is crazy. So yeah, the sky's the limit.
So, what's one thing about Dragon's Den that no one would know about that you can share with us? Some background details. Was it exciting? Was it nerve wracking? Are they lovely?
They are really great. So insight about I there's a lot I could tell you. So first of all the dragons were really, really nice. I mean, they make you
Mhm.
practice coming out. So you when the door when the things open and the entrepreneur walks out, you have to do it twice. So the
Ah,
producer say, okay, Judy, you're gonna walk out and you're gonna walk to your mark and you're just gonna stand there and look at the dragons if you can look at them because they're glaring at you. So that's what they're told to do. You
right,
walk out and then they just glare at you and I'm just like, and then they
right.
go, okay, cut, and then you walk back and then you do it again, but you go right into your pitch.
And so you have the
So
practice, like you get
you
yourself
have to
comfortable.
practice. It's really for the cameras to get their glare so that they can look so mean and intimidating. But they were awesome. Like they weren't and I mean all of them. Like I was on stage for an hour. Like I was filming for an hour, even though it got cut down only to 6 minutes. But they did ask all the questions. An hour is a long time to be going
Right.
back and forth so they did ask all the questions, but and obviously they're investors. They're trying to invest in companies
Make
that's going to
money.
make money. Exactly.
Right.
So even with that, and even with my numbers, which weren't the most compelling for them,
Hmm.
I was because I did my homework and because I was able to talk about projections and forecasting and why I could justify my valuation, whether or not they agreed with it. And so I did my due diligence with my homework. They didn't really have much to say. They're either in or out.
Ah,
And at the end of the day, they really liked me. So the personality goes a long way, whether or not it's a viable investment.
I think people like doing business with people who are kind.
Yes.
I
Yes.
agree.
Mhm.
What do you think your skill set is? Your secret sauce? What is your superpower? What defines when they saw you? What do you think set you apart?
I think a couple things. And this might seem like a negative thing, but I don't think it's a negative thing. I'm like a risk taker. Like I just
Ah,
jump to things. Like even with Trèsolz, there was no reason for me to like start it at the time that I did because I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't do my business plan. I didn't make a business plan. I
mhm.
did um, look at all of the pieces that come together and figure out does this is this actually viable? I just knew from a
Right.
personal perspective that I struggle, and so I'm trying to find an answer for me, and hopefully people will also have the same problem. I just took a chance, and that's kind of what I do my entire life. Everything that I do, I kind of wake up in the morning and I'm like, okay, I feel like doing this. I'm gonna do it. And I just get up every day. And my husband sometimes looks at me and says, babe, just kind of can we talk about this one? Can we like, you
Yeah.
know?
And you're
So
already out the door.
yeah. So I think that is something that they really loved about my personality. I was very capital efficient. Like I started the business and just kept on putting, with a rudimentary website 3 years ago with just very low volume, very small batches. And the plan was let's just start making money, a little bit of money, and let's just keep on putting it back in the business. So they really appreciated that. And I think I'm very kind of not outspoken, but I really enjoy. I'm articulate. Like I can explain what I'm doing, and I'm not really shy. So more confidence, I guess you can call it. They enjoy that because I am the face of my brand, and if I can speak about my brand, and they can feel the love that I have for what I'm doing, like myself, then I think that's what they liked about me as well.
And also, necessity is the mother of invention, right? So
Mhm.
you needed it. It was authentic and it was real and it was genuine and it was a niche. It's something that you and me needed
Yeah,
for many
it's
other ladies.
yeah, exactly. It was a need, and it started from my own personal pain, and I just took the purpose of that. Yeah.
So how do you define success? You've obviously reached some success. How would you define it?
When I put my success on a micro level, on a small level, on a daily basis, when I put my head on my bed at night and I can fall asleep knowing that whatever goals that I set for that day, or whatever things I wanted to accomplish, call it a goal or not, but that's success to me when I can put my head down on my pillow at night and I can rest and sleep peacefully knowing that I've made it through the day.
And you did your best.
And I did my best. Yes, I did my best. That's on a micro level. On a larger scale, I think success for me is all about goal setting. Like if you don't set goals, then you really can't define success. And so
Uh,
I've always been a goal setter. And so I setting realistic goals for myself and measuring them every month, every 2 months, like after my kids, like even with my kids, my family, like setting goals on not only a business level, but in my personal life is just always is really important to make sure that I'm
you're
working towards.
accountable.
Yeah,
And you're accountable. You have
yeah,
something on paper and you need to answer to
yeah.
that.
And I think that's from like the athlete in me. Like I've always been an
Mm.
athlete, so I've always known like if you want to get better, you want to run. I was a sprinter, so if I want to get my time faster, I have to train, I have to practice, and I have to be coached. A lot of times I have to be coached through it. So that's how who I am. I'm just a very coachable person. I understand discipline and hard work and effort and consistency. It's just in my DNA.
Do you have a favorite quote?
I thought about that a lot,
Yeah.
and I'm a very spiritual person.
Mm.
I Most of my favorite quotes I would say are scripture from the Bible. And I
Does
would
one
say,
stand out for you?
yeah, well, in when I was thinking yesterday, I was thinking more about keep knocking. Like if you're seeking, you'll find.
Ah,
Keep knocking, and the door will be open. You spiritually, like obviously it's in the Bible, it's talking about relationship with God, but also it expands to your life. Like
mm,
in life, if you're seeking, keep seeking, don't stop, and you will find what you're looking for. Keep knocking and the door will be open to you. So you can really look at that on a spiritual level, but also just in your life, how you live your life and how you never stop, how you're always trying to grow and expand and improve yourself by constantly looking, seeking, asking, and you just keep on going from there.
okay. What makes you personally feel inspired or your best self?
It always comes back to my family.
Oh,
Always comes back to my family. Like not only like obviously my boys and my husband, like I have a really great nucleus here. They're my powerhouse. They keep me grounded. I mean, I have
mm,
teenage boys. I'm an empty nester now, so they're out of the house, but still, like just
wow.
the it's a unit, right? Um, and my extended family and my friends, it's really about relationships. It's nothing else. It's not, money. It's not my career. It's people. People that are the ones that keep me grounded and keep me motivated, keep me growing, and
Full,
keep me wanting
nourished.
to be the best that I can be, and keep me getting up every day and putting one foot in front of the next.
Are you a person that takes advice? And if so, who or what advice has someone given to you that's really resonated?
I take advice, but it depends on if I feel like I think I'm normal. Like if I feel like you're going to give me advice because you're coming from a good place, you really want what's best for me,
Mm,
I'm gonna listen. I have to feel your vibe. I have to feel your energy. But I ask a lot for advice, especially with business, like with Trèsolz. I
hmm
am. I recognize that where I've come so far has been with about a hundred people who have just poured into my life by giving me advice, free advice. Like as I've been on this journey over the last 3 years, people have just spent time on the phone with me. So I am a really great listener I'm an even better listener over the last 3 years than I ever have been because I recognize that like this is invaluable stuff I'm learning from people, just random people who've called me up and said, Judy, I love what you're doing. Let's talk. I happen to know of a shipping company or a footwear this or anything like that, website
So is
design or
there
what.
is there best advice that you've heard that stayed with you?
The one my husband always gives me the best advice because I mean we're together all the time and he's been a successful entrepreneur for 30 years and I think what sticks in my mind which I know it sounds simple but I keep on remembering he said, Judy, you have to in order to make money you have to spend money. I know
That's
it sounds
practical advice.
and it's so practical but um, yeah, that's hard. That's been hard for me. That's been hard for me to realize because I had the idea that okay, I'm gonna start this company and I'm gonna bring out some shoes and everyone's gonna buy them and I'm gonna be rich in a year.
Yeah. Was there a turning point in your life? And how do you think it affected you?
I mean, turning points for me in terms of like developing myself was starting a family, having dependence, like not only being um accountable to myself, like having children, and recognizing that my life is not only about me. I mean that parenting is like the biggest turning point of anyone's life, in my opinion. If people don't give you that answer, they're wrong. This is the answer, okay?
It changes everything. It does change everything. It changes you, and it's a new path forward. You can't go back to how it was, right? When people say, "Oh, everything will return as it was," I'm not sure that really happens. I think it's a new path, and you go for it.
Three most empowering women. The first one is my mom.
Yes.
My mom is I don't even know, like
Oh.
she is such a strong woman. Like I could write a book about her. We growing up was,
Mm.
we grew up in Scarborough. She was first generation Canadians. My dad was a full-time minister, full-time pastor. My
Wow.
mom, us, not alone. Obviously, my dad was there, but she did a lot she was the main caregiver of the two of us. And she just was able so resilient. She was so resilient, like dealing with being a new immigrant back in the
Mm.
60s and 70s, a lot going on. Um, so she was just so strong and she raised three girls. And we are all very successful now. We're all still very close with our mom, and she's got like
That's
five
nice.
beautiful grandkids. So she's like number one powerhouse. Um, I would say everything stays close to home for me because my family and my relationships are probably the most dominant relationships in my life. And as I said earlier, people are what make me who I am, right? Relationships. So I
Mm.
would say my sisters are also very much invested in my life. Obviously, sisters, you're not always close at all parts of your
Hmm.
life. Um, but it always comes back to blood being so thicker than water. I mean, they're always there for you, and always able to kind of like always at the end of the day care about me
Right.
so deeply, no matter even if we're arguing. Like they're one of those people that I know that I'm going to get good advice from, whether or not we're even speaking. And there's a lot of times
Right.
we're not.
That's
So
family for you, right?
yeah, yeah.
Someone is thinking about starting a business like you. What advice would you give them with everything that you know now? Ah, that's tough,
I
right?
don't know. It's not tough. I'm gonna honestly, I feel like an idea, any idea, like that's what business starting a business is about, solving a problem. So if you truly have an idea that solves a problem,
Uh,
be a Judy. Don't just start. Honestly, the worst that can happen is that it doesn't work, but you won't have any regrets saying, "What if? Oh my gosh!" And then 5 years later, somebody else has the idea, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I had this." You know what I mean? So just start. Surround yourself with. There's a lot of free advice. There's a lot of people who have great networks, who have a lot of knowledge wealth, and are willing and open to pour into others. There is. I never knew it until I started Trèsolz. Okay. So tap into people, start networking. And I don't mean going to like mixers and I'm not saying leave your house. I'm saying start talking to people on the phone, start, looking on LinkedIn. Like I didn't know what LinkedIn was until 3 years ago. I don't know. It's great.
so
Start
be
just,
a Judy. That's our
yeah, be
advice.
a
Be a
Judy.
Judy. We need a
Just
meme.
yeah, be a Judy. Take that.
Be a Judy. Be a Judy. So the word empowerment, it's a big word. What does that mean to you?
Building. It just
Building.
means yeah, it just means building. When you empower anyone, you're building up, building them
Mm,
up, and that's always been something that I have tried to do
mm.
in the time that I'm a teacher. That's what we do
Right.
by
That's
nature.
that's your job. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
What's do you think, looking back now, what's the most important lesson you've learned just
Mhm.
about life? Mm.
Here's the most important lesson. You have one life.
Ah, I
You
like
have
that.
one, Annie, and there's no
Dress
do-over.
rehearsal. No dress rehearsal.
There's no dress rehearsal. And so if I could tell my 16-year-old self or my 25-year-old self or even my 47-year-old self, every day is a new day. Like that's the great thing about the way this world works. 24-hour chunks of time. Even though there's no complete do-overs, every day you can start fresh again.
Right.
And I love that. I love that about our system of time.
Okay, so we're going to do a rapid fire now. We're going to have
Oh gosh.
rapid fire. Judy, be a Judy. Here we go. How would you describe one word? Yourself in
Resilient.
one word. Yes.
Resilient.
What did you dream about being as a child? I think I know the answer.
Sure.
If you had to choose between money and fame, which would it be?
Neither.
Ah,
Money, fame. Mm-mm. I thought you maybe money and no, I can't. Neither. No fame, not for. I mean, money's fine, but I don't.
right?
Yeah, not fame for sure. Not fame. Fame is terrible. Who wants to be famous? I don't know any famous happy people. Happy people. Come on.
There's a lot of rich, happy people, though, Judy.
Yeah, that's true. So I'll take money then. Money.
I'm with you. Do you tend to wake up early or stay up and work late? Are you a morning or late night gal?
Afternoon.
Ah, you're an afternoon gal. If you're writing your autobiography, what would the title be?
Tomorrow's a new day.
The necessities. What's one thing you could not go without?
My Bible.
Oh. What's the one thing you've always wanted to do in life but never have? Ah, Olympics.
No.
No, that's a good one.
Can you say it again? What's something? Read it again.
What's the one thing you have always wanted to do in life but never have?
I would say skydive. And never will. My husband won't let me.
Ah, wow. If you had a theme song that played every time you walked into a room, what song would that be?
Crazy in love.
Ah, what's one thing you want but cannot buy with money?
How I want infinite health. Infinite health.
If you could change one thing about the world, what would you change?
Children suffering.
What's your favorite entrepreneurial or empowerment book?
Think and Grow Rich.
What's the most recent investment that you have made in yourself?
Hole plunging.
Oh, really? Interesting. What's one common myth about your profession that you want to debunk?
Which profession?
Let's go with Trèsolz.
One common myth.
That it's easy. It's not easy.
Yeah, that it's
You
easy.
think?
Yeah.
What's one thing you learned about yourself during this journey?
That I am a businesswoman.
Ah,
I am.
if you could sit down and have 1 hour conversation with anyone in the world,
God.
if you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, whether about life, business, or anything else, what would that advice be?
Every day is a new day. Start fresh every day. Forget about the past. Start fresh every day.
Judy, thank you so much for elevating, educating, and empowering us through your journey. We all rise by lifting each other. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Annie.